That's a third. Watkins lucky. What a goal! And they've won it!
Let's get some crosses here. Watkins, 3-1. Brentford have won here. Marksman hit the shoot. What a goal! What a goal!
Ball pulled back. Watkins! When they needed him most, Lonnie Watkins steps up to the stage.
Welcome to the run-in. This smile has not left my face all week. What a result. It's only going to happen again. We've extended our unbeaten run in SW6. 2 late goals, another in the last minute against them lot. What a start to the weekend it was. And we're back for another show. And I'm delighted to say I am joined again by my strike partner, the ambassador, Marcus Gayle. How are you, mate?
Well, thanks for having me back. I'm feeling really good.
It's not having you back. We did this together now. It's me and you.
This is the strike partnership. I'm not sure if I'm your strike partner or is it the other way around. I'm not sure.
I'll just hate on your flick-ons.
All right.
I was running in behind.
I can handle that.
Anyway, last weekend, what starts the weekend it was?
Great start. Early kick-off. Everything was set in place for a derby. The performance was really good and a strong finish at the end.
It was just nice to watch a game that you cared about as well.
Yeah, it was. I was so happy with the result and the feeling after when that final whistle came. I was so elated. It just set the rest of my weekend up in a perfect way.
Well, look, there's loads to talk about from that game at Craven Cottage, but we'll also be catching up with Dom Thompson, a little chat with him midweek to discuss his favourite things. Also, your old teammate, Alex Rhodes, he sat down with Natalie Sawyer and picked his all-time Brentford 11. Do you think you're in it?
I hope I'm not, but if I am, I'll be more than pleased with that.
And also, unbelievably, Emiliano Marcondes will be joining us in the studio via Zoom link. It's going to be an absolute cracker. But first, should we just watch it all again?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Don't bother me because you know I don't need reminding. I see you looking, but I don't ever see you finding on me. I could see myself, you and your I'd see me. I know you don't like me, well I don't really like you either. You don't have to pretend the feelings that you should. Tell me how to live my life, keep on living yours. You know I was joking, I did not mean to hurt your feelings. Why'd you have to tell her? I'd have told her anyway. Don't assume that I don't think about these things. Gotta away. I don't want you here. You are fortunate. Things in life won't go your way if you always change direction. I don't want to get away.
Wins the ball, so Watkins is there.
Yes.
And Brentford score.
Benrahma.
Benrahma with the goal on 88 minutes. Have Brentford won the points here? It's Valencia. Brentford are on a break. He's played it to Watkins. That's Benrahma, sorry, on this left-hand side. Valencia carries on with his run. The ball's played on the right-hand side. There's Marcondes. Marcondes in the box. Can he make this save? He's just left the ball behind him. Onto his left foot. Still Marcondes. Yes! Marcondes makes it safe. And yet again, Brentford are going to take the points away from Craven Cottage. It's 2-0 to the Bees.
Right, Marcus, let's get straight into it. Break down the performance Saturday for us.
Solid performance, great start. Thought the team looked very well organised. That's to be expected. Great setup in terms of the personnel. Yes, we didn't have Mbuemo on the right hand side, but Fosu came in. I thought he'd done a very good job in terms of keeping the width and giving us that sort of penetration down the right hand side, which caused problems for Fulham in that first half.
Do you think, you mentioned there Brian not playing, do you think their lads would have seen that in the team selection and a little surprise, and maybe would they have tried to react to that?
I think it's too late to react because the team sheet's given an hour and a half before. I don't think it's going to really make too much of a difference to how Fulham approached us. But just pleased with the performance, the people that came in, done a great job. Great to see Pontus back in the side.
We'll get on to Pontus in a sec, but 10 minutes in to the second half, Mitrovic scores. Be honest, did you think it was a goal?
I thought it was a goal, but when you look back, you can just see it's not quite as it should have been, but we're thankful for that. Great battle between the two. And Fulham posed problems early on, but I think what Brentford done well, we just weathered the storm pretty well and then overcame them in the second half.
That Mitrovic goal came at probably their best period, a little 10-minute spell, and David Raya pulled off some great saves. This one's actually from the first half, but we'll get on to the ones in the second half. How big a period was that for us to get through? Because there was a lot of balls going into the box at this point, and that one there is an unbelievable save, as we see again, point blank.
A lot of them maybe just they look like they're routine saves, but they're very important saves. You know, Mitrovic was just about getting his head to the crosses without having too much purchase of power to really give the keeper any trouble at all. But you need a goalkeeper of Raya's standards just to keep everything calm at the back.
And we saw there a lot of their chances were from that, where it was just crosses in. Obviously they did hit the bar first half, but it was kind of just, it felt quite one-dimensional, which is unusual for a Fulham side, because we've played them before and they pop it really well.
Yeah.
And they are fantastically good at that. But it did feel laboured, and it just felt like it was kind of deep crosses or just crosses into Mitrovic every time.
And that's easy to set up, defensively as well. If you know where the ball's always coming, you can just get people in position early and give them limited amount of chances to try and take. So that fell into Brentford's hands quite well.
Yeah, and look, touched on it a minute ago. Pontus returning, his battle with Mitrovic was just brilliant to watch, I thought, anyway. It looked like they both kind of thrived on it. I mean, one more than the other. Look, Pontus is loving it there.
And that's part of his game, it's one-on-one battles, physically and mentally dominating his opponent and not giving him any sort of room to really dominate himself. So great battle. If it was on points, probably Mitrovic, because he had the chances, but there was very limited chances. Ultimately, as a defender, if your striker doesn't score, you've done your job.
Well, that's it, because even there, when we see Mitrovic wins a header, because of the pressure Pontus is putting on him, he couldn't get the power that maybe he could normally get against maybe a weaker defender. So is it a case there, if I'm not going to win the header, I do everything I can to make sure he doesn't get the header he wants on goal?
That's it. Whether you just get a studs on the bottom of the ball that's coming up into him, that's called great defending. As long as your striker doesn't get clean shots and puts the ball in the back of the net, your job is done as a defender.
He seemed to frustrate Mitrovic, who seemed to... He is quite isolated as well up there, whereas we attacked in numbers a lot of the time. And how many times we sit when we go out wide and you see 4 or 5 of our players around the ball. He struck me as such an isolated figure, and he just seemed to get more and more frustrated because Pontus just wasn't letting him do anything.
Yeah, he was up against a brick wall in Pontus, and sometimes when he tried to play on Pinnock as well, Pinnock backed that same sort of mentality up, is that you're not going to really pass us, you're not going to outrun us for pace or anything like that, so they know they don't have to defend sort of deep on him or high. They know they can get as close as possible to him because he hasn't got that pace to nimbly get past them.
And at 12 clean sheet this season, Pontus has played in 10 of them. I mean, how improved has the defence been?
Well, when you compare it to the previous season, it was a younger back four, but now we've got that added experience and that bit of knowledge, and we've seen that throughout the season, especially when Pontus has played in the back. How he brings that calmness, he leads from the back, everybody does their jobs to the last letter, and it's important that he's in that side to do that.
And look, he's the one that everyone does fixate on and say, look, he's been involved in 10 of the 12 games, but one man, Rico's played every single one of them. You think he's gone under the radar a bit? Because at times with Rico as well, you see it, he gets doubled up on at times because we do let Saeed maybe play with a bit more freedom. I'm not saying Saeed doesn't track, but we do let him play with a bit more freedom. So Rico can be doubled up quite often.
Well, he's especially a very good 1v1 defender. Covers the grass pretty quick in defensive position. So you've got that with him, is that you can trust him to do that job really well. And on the flip side, it gives Saeed more opportunity to just stay up and counter-attack. In some ways, kind of half cheat, because when we do counter-attack, he's more or less on as an option.
Yeah, and look, huge changing point in the game with substitutions. But for me, it was for both teams. I don't know what you think. thought Harrison Reed, before he went off, was having a great game. What influence do you think that had on the match?
Well, I think it's probably fatigue that got to him in the end. And then once you've got that fatigue, little niggles can creep into your body. But it's a decision that both managers have had to make. In their case, it probably affected them in a negative. But for us, bringing on Emiliano,
Well, that's it.
we saw the positive side of it.
Talk to me about Emiliano coming on, and obviously Shandon as well, but here he is. He's coming on the pitch. What impact?
Well, we've seen the immediate impact with him, setting one up and then scoring the second himself. That's going to be needed throughout the squad. We're going to need players that can come in after 70 minutes and make that immediate impact.
Do you think he's currently just a little bit unfortunate that maybe there's so many people playing well that he isn't getting the starts?
Competition is good for everybody, and I think with this current squad, we've got so much competition around in different areas of the pitch, is that everyone's got to be on their top game to stay in the side or get into the side. And the people that didn't play on Saturday, they know they've got to raise their game to get back in.
And where would you like to see him play? Because he's filled in a few different positions for us.
He's a bit of a mystery player for me in terms of where do you put him, but I'd like to see him more central and more involved with the game, because he's got a bubbly sort of style of play. He bobbles around the pitch, he looks excited to get onto the ball and make people think and defend him differently. He can play the little tight passes, little 1-2s, and we know from the goals that he has scored, he scores from outside the box.
And we're gonna focus on him a lot later, because amazingly he's actually going to join us via Zoom. Comes on, sets up the first, then scores the second. You messaged me this and you said, look at how many goals we scored batch. And obviously these two goals were within 2 minutes of each other on Saturday. We've got them here actually, and it is quite remarkable, all the group goals we've scored, and some of them are in a bold black and also highlighted in the red. In 11 different games, with 14 occasions, we've scored within 10 minutes of each other. Why do you think this is?
I'm not sure why, but I'm sure we're all quite pleased the goals do come when they do. And it just shows there's a bit of patience in some of the games, and there's a lot of excitement in some of the games as well. Like we can score early, like in the Brentford derby game. We scored pretty early on in that match, the first 20 minutes, which is crucial. And then the game is ours to be lost in that sort of sense. But we kind of go on and cement our position.
Because normally the saying is you're at your most vulnerable when you score.
Yeah.
Like when you've scored, that's when you normally concede after. We've flipped that on its head. Is that then because teams are going hang about? We've got to go for it, and then we go, thanks very much. Because when teams attack us, that's when we're kind of at our most dangerous, because we get them on the counter. So do you think that could be it, that they're going a goal down and they're throwing themselves at us, and we go ahead and do that all day because you know what's going to hit you? Bang, 2-0.
It's important to take the chances when they do come. And Brentford have fallen short in that department at times, where you might get the first chance of the game and it might not go our way. We've missed it. The other team might score, and then we've got to come out of our shell a bit more and then start playing and getting those goals in clutches as we've done. But what's pleased me with the last game especially is that it shows the fitness levels of the team, the squad. To score in the 88th and 90th minute shows great fitness.
Well, that's it. No team in the country has scored as many goals in the last 10 minutes as we have, and you put there about the fitness and stuff. I love a last-minute goal. I'd say a last-minute goal against Fulham is probably my favourite thing in the world. And I actually talked to Dom Thompson about what his favourite things are. Here's what he said. Who was your favourite player growing up, Dom?
Wait. Arsenal.
And you went on to play for him?
Yeah, exactly.
What's that like when you put on that Arsenal shirt for the first time then?
I couldn't believe it, to be honest. It's just mad. And even on one of my training sessions, I saw Van Persie taking his kid in, and just to see him, I was like, oh my God. Probably Leicester, because obviously it wasn't a friendly game. Maybe I've played some friendly games for Arsenal also, but this is a competitive game in the FA Cup, and against Leicester, who are a good side doing very well in the Premier League. I felt like I played well and the team gave a great effort, and it was unfortunate to go out. The Emirates is obviously the stadium of the club I support, but in terms of coming to Griffin Park and being welcomed by the fans, like when I'm playing and listening, sometimes I do say you go numb to it and you kind of block it out, but sometimes if you do a good thing and you hear them and they're like, well done Tomo or whatever, I think that's a nice thing. So Griffin Park is definitely. I'd say it's my first, stadium, my first stadium. So I'd say Griffin Park. Definitely trainers.
Yeah.
Dior B20. Yeah.
So you're a stylish guy, obviously. Who's the worst dressed at the club?
Oof. Who's
Well, name and shame.
who's the worst dressed? Some names in there.
Yeah, come on, hit me.
To be fair, they probably say the same about me, but I'll probably go with Drew.
Yeah.
You've got a few Machino bits in there. They're not bad, but I've got to pick out sometimes.
I've seen you rocking the camo trousers.
Who, me?
Yeah.
What colour?
Couldn't see him, the camouflage.
I quite enjoy badminton. When I was in school, I used to play badminton in like PE and stuff. I quite enjoy that. It's a bit more. It is very fast paced, but at the same time, it's a lot easier than tennis.
Did you ever play any of the boys in training or anything?
No. The biggest game you play is like rondo, so like piggy in the middle.
Who gets beaten in them?
Yeah, but a few people have got season tickets. Probably me and Drew. But obviously, when I first came to Brentford, because I had the history with Josh Da Silva, that kind of he made my time like settling in and stuff pretty easy. And since then we've been quite close. So I'd say Josh is my favourite player. Camo's another one that I get on with really well. But I do get on with all of the boys, to be fair. And quite like Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
Kevin Hart on social media, yeah. He's been doing Confessions from the Heart over the lockdown. So that's why I've been watching quite a bit.
And what about your own social media? Talk about these TikToks that you've been doing.
Yeah, dabbled in it a little bit, made a few videos.
Lockdown for me is Tiger King, people running 5Ks, and Dom Thompson's TikToks, I think.
Just a jump on the wave,
What do the boys say about them?
Oh, they grill me all the time. I've been doing like silly little videos, like it's just my personality. I've been doing them like before lockdown.
Marcus, you getting on those TikToks? You been doing any of them?
If I ever got onto TikTok, I don't think my kids will ever talk to me again. So no, not doing it.
Right, mate, look, another big game on the telly this week. West Brom and the return of Romain Sawyers. It's a shame that there won't be a crowd there, because what kind of reception do you think Romain would have got?
I think he would have got a very good reception from the crowd. Very well respected. I think he started off slow with the crowd. Probably didn't take to his style of play. But I think over that 4-year period, we saw the true sort of Romain Sawyers come out, and we really appreciated his style and impact he has on the team.
I was going to say, he absolutely reversed it. And why do you think that was, that he maybe he didn't have the backing of the whole crowd at the start?
Sometimes the crowd could be hard to please, which is fine. You've got to earn your right as well. I just think it's his style of play. It just needed patience. I think he had full belief in his own ability, and through the coaches that he had here in Dean Smith and Thomas, and it just took a little time for him to settle in terms of with the fans to really sort of appreciate how good he is.
And that's it, and they did appreciate him towards the end. And technically, where does he rank in players that we've had over the years?
I think when you look at his influence of how he dictates the game from all various positions, from a very deep line position in midfield to where he can get around the edge of the box and influence in front of chances and goals.
And he's clearly still very popular with the lads as well. We saw it at the West Brom game. Here we've got it up at the Hawthorns. Have you ever played with like a good mate, like played against a good mate? And what's it like? Are you at each other, or are you beat each other?
I'm at my opponent like that. I've played against mates before. It is a bit weird, but I know they want to kick me and win the game, so I might as well do the same to them. I think you just mates after the game, not before it, not during it, but after the game.
And look, it's not just about Romain and Brentford. It is a huge game. Last time out, all square. There's a bit of a loving between the fans of each club, and they were really admirable about us, actually.
Yeah.
What did you make of a performance up there?
Yeah, it was a good performance. As you can see with the goal, Dalsgaard running across the near post. as you can see, both teams concede goals in the exact same sort of area, near post, flick that goes into the back stick. But it's two footballing sides that are really going to go for it. Hopefully we can get that win and put some pressure on them as well.
I was going to say, it's a little bit ironic that two teams that do play such good football when it was two set pieces, but we know how good we are from set pieces. There was also a massive penalty shout in that game. Kyle Bartley here, surely this is a pen, isn't it?
It's got to be a pen. You know, he's dived down, left arm comes up.
Because Ollie gets that.
Yeah.
That's going straight to Ollie if he doesn't handball that, surely.
And the way Ollie finishes this season in particular, a lot of his goals are in and around the 6-yard box. So he's a very good one-touch finisher in that position.
Like I say, it is a huge game. I saw Scott Minto from Sky saying that if we win, it could be on for the automatics.
It could be on, but we need the other results to go our way, with Leeds playing the following day. So if we can get through to Friday with a win, that would be great, but still plenty of games to go, tough games, awkward games to follow.
It's exciting, isn't it? I mean, the players have got to calm, but we can get excited, can't we?
Yeah, we can get a bit excited. If we can have that feeling as we had last weekend, that would be great for the running.
But we've just got to slow it down a little bit. Let's just, Well, look, a lot of big decisions for Thomas to make, and another man who had to make some big decisions was your old teammate Alex Rhodes. He picked his all-time Brentford 11. So you think you're in it? I'm not sure.
If I'm in it, I'll be delighted. If I'm not, I'll be okay with it. So I can't lose.
Well, let's have a look, shall we?
We start with your goalkeeper and who you've gone for.
When I first joined the club, Paul Smith was there, good goalkeeper, and obviously, he went to Southampton as well. But Nelson, for me, me and Nels, we lived together as well. Really good friends, and for his ability to find a striker from a goal kick on the edge of our opposing team's box, it was always quite strong.
Okay, so Stuart Nelson is in goal for you. Should we look at this back three that you've gone for? Who are we going to start with first?
Obviously, Mr. Reliable, Kevin O'Connor.
The legend.
He led by example. In training, he was first out, he was last in. Even to the point after training, just free kicks. He would be out there for hours just doing free kicks, just doing extra work.
It sounds like he was the ultimate professional then as well.
For me, Kevin, as a one club person, I'm surprised that there weren't a lot of Premiership clubs that were knocking on the door for him, because he was that good.
All right then, so from Kevin O'Connor, who do we go to next?
I'm going to go for the left side of the three. It's Michael Turner. I don't think anybody really realised how good he was unless you actually saw him play or trained with him.
And he obviously had this great partnership with Sam Sodji. What was it about those two that made them tick so well together?
Well, Michael was the calm one. Michael was the one that kind of...
Why did that surprise me?
Exactly. But Michael was the calm one. I think he kept the back grounded. So it was a case of when you saw Sodji going on his one of his mad runs, or kicking someone up in the air, or using the stepping ladder to go for a header, he was kind of like an exciting in the centre half, but not very tall. Whereas Michael was very, very calm, very sensible, just did everything that was meant to be done as a centre half.
Interestingly though, you haven't opted for Sam Sodji, considering the partnership that they had. So who completes the three for you?
Ibrahim Sonko.
Oh, wow. The towering athletic force of Sonko.
Sonko his physical presence was unreal, and he was a man mountain. He was good in the air. He could tackle, he could run, strong. You knew what you were getting with him. As soon as you stepped out on the field, you knew that no one was going to beat him. He was going to put someone in row Z if he needed to.
I think Stephen Hunt described him as a gladiator who couldn't kick straight but was effective. Is that a fair description?
Yeah, I didn't want to come on here and start trying to rib people, but yeah, his passing was a bit wayward at times.
Okay, so that's your defence done, that first of the three. So the next three that you've gone for in midfield, who are we starting with on that one?
I'll go with centre midfielder, and that's Darren Pratley. He had the ability, and you could see that he was a good player, and you knew he was going to put his foot in when needed as well.
I think he said his first couple of games were quite tough, quite physical, because he wasn't used to it. But again, he adapted and he adjusted to everything that was put in front of him, and that's why I've put him in the side, because he could only get better and better.
Who's next?
J Tab on the right. For someone quite small, he was strong, but he was extremely quick. But his ability on the ball, his movement and his thinking, like he would do things and he would turn into situations or into a position, and you'd be like, I don't know how you've just done that, but yeah, it's great. And you knew that he was gonna beat a player or two with ease and do something magical.
Okay, so we've got J Tab, Darren Pratley. Who completes your midfield three then, Alex?
I went with John Solarco. Sal took it just by an inch. Again, his ability, his physical presence, and just what he had achieved in football. I know that obviously coming to Brentford, he was near the end of his career, but for someone of his age at the time, he would still be doing things that 20-year-olds would find impossible to do, just fitness-wise and just ability. It was unreal to watch.
Okay, shall we move on then to, I suppose we'll say your forward options. Who's your next one in for your all-time 11?
Just in front of the midfield, but just behind the two strikers, is Marcus Gayle.
Another legend at the club, fondly remembered for his 2 spells. What qualities did he bring then?
Everything. He was one of the only players I can really truly remember that had everything that any professional would want and more. His ability in the air, his footwork, his awareness of the game, everything. It was nice to watch, and because obviously we were playing in similar positions at times, if I wasn't playing, it was nice to see what he would do to give me an understanding in the game as well.
So what was he like in the dressing room?
A leader. He was kind of like the middleman between us and the manager and everything, and he's very honest. He would speak to you honestly about anything. If he thought that, right, this is what you need to do, or this is why, this is this reason, you knew that whatever Marcus said, he was speaking the truth. It's not like he was trying to sugarcoat anything. You knew exactly what you were getting with him, and I mean, I've got nothing but respect for him, because he helped me when I was going through a bad patch, feeling a little bit like depression kicking in with my injuries and stuff. He was always there to give me a little helping hand, really, and just tell me that everything's going to be fine.
So we've got Marcus Gayle in there. Who compliments him?
Stephen Hunt, the one guy would do absolutely. He'd give you his last penny, even if he knew that he was going to be homeless. He would give you it. He was the nicest bloke in the world, and his footballing ability. He was another one like Sonks. He always used to say, I'm gonna be playing here, I'm gonna be doing this, and his left foot, and again, he was quick, and he could play anywhere across the midfield or up front, and that's why I've gone with him. But you couldn't shut him up. You couldn't keep him quiet. You just be like, Hunty, you need to calm down now. Like, seriously, my brain is hurting.
Who are we moving on to next?
DJ Campbell. He was unbelievable. He could do everything that you would want of a striker.
And I don't think any Brentford fan can forget that FA Cup game with Sunderland, where he scored twice, of course. He was just fantastic.
Yeah, and again, you know, the one person that went to him and actually got into his ear about how to play against the players he was playing against was Marcus again. Marcus would say to him, you have got the better of these players. They're slow. All it takes is one little movement. All it's going to take is for you to get in behind, and they're not going to be able to catch you. They're not going to stop you. So just believe in yourself. Just believe you will get that moment to score. I wasn't fortunate to play. I was injured at the time. But just watching it as a fan and as someone at the club, I think every single person that left that ground that day would have had smiles from ear to ear.
So who completes this 11 then? Who's your final pick? You went for Dion Burton.
Yeah.
So why Dion? Why did he shine above all those names that you've mentioned?
He, again, his experience and just how he played the game was a breath of fresh air. He could hold the ball up by himself and beat hold off 6 to 7 players on his own if he wanted to. Just, he knew when the game needed to take a little break or needed to push on. Good in the air, could score, he was strong.
I mean, this is an impressive 11 that you have picked, I have to say, Alex. I mean, it's a different formation, as we've already remarked, but it's impressive. You've got some great names in there from Brentford's past. You mentioned your subs bench. I'll just run through those. You've got Paul Smith, Lloyd Owusu, Joe Kafor, Isaiah Rankin, Sam Sodji, and Andy Myers in there as well. So many people will say, how on earth could you not have Lloydie in there?
Again, it was tough. If he sees this, he'll probably message me and rip me and kill me off.
No, this is Lloyd Owusu.
Yeah, it was tough, and quite frankly, I wanted to put him in the side, but with how well Dion and DJ did when they were at the club, it was a tough one.
Right, where do we start with this? Great team, don't get me wrong. Absolute players in there. Is he all right with this formation?
I'm not sure who was in control of the crayons when he done this at home, but
he's not done his A licence yet, has he? Let's be honest.
It's a good starting 11. I'm surprised I'm in it, but as I said earlier, I'm delighted. I'm sure Lloyd Owusu won't be too happy not being in that starting 11, knowing Lloyd and how he and Rhodes are good friends. But it's an interesting shape. I'm not sure if I would set it up like that, but it's a very interesting one.
It might be that in a couple of years, everyone's doing this and we look like absolute idiots here. One man that I did feel sorry for, Darren Pratley's got a job on, isn't he? Because you're not doing anything tracking back, surely.
My job weren't to track back. I was always made to go forward. So I would have to tinker with that team. I'll probably put J-Tab in central midfield, bit of legs, Salako where Tabby is, and Hunty maybe where Salako is. Just have a little bit of a balance. That's just my perspective of it.
And he went with Martin Allen as the gaffer.
There's only one man for him to do that. So Mad Dog himself, I think he had a very good impact with the club. The young players in my time, I think they really took to him as well, how he communicated, how he empowered them to be the best they could ever be. And you can see the emergence of J-Tab, Michael Turner in particular. Kevin was always around that sort of grouping as well. And you can just see them just grow and mature as men.
How fuming would Sodji be about being on the bench?
I'm not too sure. I think Lloyd would be more upset than Sodji.
Yeah.
I think if we had to give Lloyd a call, he'll be absolutely fuming he didn't make that starting 11.
But to be fair, Dion Burton weren't a bad player. He didn't score that many for us, but absolute player, got great touch in him.
Top player, great movement, hold-up play. He won quite a lot of headers for his height. But he's had a very, very good career.
And talk to me about Alex, because he said some lovely things about you and how you were really there for him when he had his injuries. How heartbreaking was that injury? And how good could he have been?
Well, he naturally had the speed to go past people. He could definitely strike a ball and cross it. So we've missed out. Brentford fans have missed out on the potential of watching him materialise and become a really effective and great player. It was hard for him as well, but as a group, that group we had back then, we was all in it together. So we never left the injured players out of it. We always made them have a little laugh and a joke and stuff, feel part of the main group. And sometimes he was the butt of the jokes as well. But he needed to come out of himself in that regard to help him through his rehab.
Didn't you have a little nickname for him?
We did. I'm like a cookie monster anyway, so I think I called him Biscuit Nose. Only once, and then it just spread around the camp like fire.
Why did you call him that?
Because he had, he broke his nose. It weren't the greatest of shapes when it came back, but it was meant out of affection for him, not to demonise him in any way. But it's just we had such a good rapport in that group of players, and he was one of them.
He was a fantastic player, and he scored some important goals. Another man that scored an important goal, of course, was Emiliano Marcondes on Saturday, and he is joining us now on Zoom. Here he is. How's it going, Emiliano?
Yeah, I'm very good, very good.
What was the general chat after the game, after that result?
Obviously it was a big win for us, and great to be back playing again, and with 3 points in a very important game against the local derby. It was important, but also great to see that we still have our level and the level to be in the top. So that was good for everyone to get that feeling and to see that we are a very good team.
And for you personally, like, this was your third goal on Saturday against Fulham. What's been your favourite one to date?
That's a good question. I think the most beautiful one was against Sheffield, but I think my favorite one was this one because it was a derby, and just coming back from this break, and you're like kind of in doubt where you are. So that was good to get back straight away and with a good assist, but also a good goal.
What did Thomas say to you as you were coming on?
What did he say? He just said go in with a lot of energy that I normally give to the team, and when I came in, I could feel that they were tired. Fulham were tired, so I just tried to, obviously give everything and run a lot and make them also run and in doubt where they should positioning, and also with the first goal, they were kind of in doubt where they should put the pressure on me, on Christian, and then I got some space in the half space and got some time on the ball to make a good cross.
And look, talk to me about that first goal and the assist. What a cross it was. Did you think you was offside? I saw you had a little glance. Were you a bit worried you might have been offside?
A little bit afterwards because they were complaining, the Fulham players. But in the moment, I felt I was nowhere near offside because I think you can see afterwards that I stop and then stay on the line, on the last line, and kind of Christian was a bit slow to pass me the ball, so I had to wait a moment. But I wasn't in doubt when I had the ball and when I crossed the ball. It was just afterwards they were standing, everybody with their hand up. And
then the second goal, talk about composure, mate. You had us all up and down. I was going at home. I was a mess. You had it all under control, though. Obviously, was there any chance you were passing that? Or was it always I'm shooting it?
My first thought was to pass it. Because that would be the easiest solution, but it was like it stopped in the grass, and they were coming back quickly as well. After I had my first touch, it was not the best touch. Then I felt I need to cut this one inside, and I just saw the space, and then I took an extra touch, and then I went for the goal.
Emiliano, we've seen you in a few positions since you joined the club. What is your favourite position?
That's a good question. I think it is a number 8-10 position where I can be in the half spaces and receive the ball and turn, and but also just float around to go out on the side and as in the weekend to make the crosses like that. Make the opponents in doubt so they don't know where I am all the time. To be floating around and making them in doubt is so that's kind of central position, but also on the sides, to go out on the sides.
And you live with Luka Racic. We've seen you on Instagram and stuff.
Yeah.
Did he cook you a nice celebratory meal or anything on Saturday?
I think we actually had we delivered. We ordered some food that night, but he's a good cook. He's a good chef, and I think he made some good ravioli pasta before the game. So maybe tonight I have to say he has to make it again because there was some magic in that meal.
Every week, Luca's now got to cook you ravioli. What's he like to live with?
He's a great guy. Sometimes a bit annoying, like a little brother. No, it's been a really, really great. And when I went to Midtjylland, he lived in my apartment. And then when I came back in December, I said he could just stay and we could try it out. And then it was a small apartment, so we had to find something bigger. And now we found a bigger place where we have our own rooms. In the beginning, he had to sleep on the couch back in the old apartment. So I think he's pleased to have his own room now and his own bed. Yeah, it's been amazing because especially in these times with the corona, we have to stay indoor. We have each other, and we can train together in our home gym and be in each other's company. Have someone to talk to. It's been really great, and it really have helped us out both mentally.
You say about competitions. You've been doing your fitness like we've seen on Instagram. Come on then. Yeah. Who's the fittest out of you two?
I think it's me. I think he knows it's me as well. I can run the most and for longest time, but he's strong. I think he's in the gym. He's a bit stronger than me. He's a big guy as well, so a central defender. He needs to be stronger than me. But I think running wise, I will win all of the challenges.
So, 2 big games coming up. How do you think we'll do?
Yeah, obviously tomorrow is a really exciting game for us because we can get really close to West Brom, and right now we're only thinking about that game. Give it everything. We are really confident, and we have played good against all the top teams, and now tomorrow at home. I know there's no fans, but Griffin Park is still special, and I think the opponents still feel a bit more stressed when they come into Griffin Park. It's like the pitch is a bit smaller, so I think we can stress them a lot with our pressing and counter pressing, and get the upper hand and get the 3 points.
Can't wait, mate. It's all getting very, very exciting. Look, thanks for your time. Really appreciate it. Top man, Emiliano.
You're welcome. Take care.
What a top bloke, Marcus.
Very good guy. Liked his character that came across.
Yeah. And ravioli is a pre-match meal. What were you having as a pre-match meal?
Well, mine, it used to be chicken and beans.
Yeah.
And then as I moved up the levels, I worked on banana and porridge for the rest of my career because it worked for me.
Carbs.
Yeah.
Fair enough. And let's talk about him in particular.
Yeah.
We spoke about him a bit earlier, but what has impressed you most about him since he's been back?
There just seems to be a different sort of energy about him, sort of different appetite. You can see technically he's very gifted, can play various positions, but he just seems to have not grown up but matured through that loan period to come back and really understand himself, which can now be incorporated into the team, and we're now seeing the benefits of that.
We spoke about the loan spell. This is his record. Well, in fact, this is just his last 10 games, and we've got the minutes there on the right-hand side, and we're actually doing him a bit of a disservice here because we're missing out the FA Cup game before, the Stoke game.
Yeah.
He's only played 4 full 90s since he's been back, and he's scored or assisted in 3 of those games, and we've seen the last 2 he scored and assisted. I mean, that's unbelievable form coming back. Could we be seeing a little bit of a Romain Sawyer's style, turn around scoring against your nearest rivals? We've heard it all before, haven't we?
Yeah, we possibly could be. I'm very pleased that he has sort of turned things around on the pitch. We heard him off the pitch there that he's quite fit. He likes all that sort of stuff. He eats well, lives right. But for the fans, it's to see the actual impact he's having on the pitch, and we're really seeing some strong performances. It doesn't really matter how many minutes he's getting, but we're seeing very good performances out of him. Although he would love to start more 90-minute games.
He said there that we're focused on West Brom first, and it's hard to look past West Brom, but we have to because we're previewing the fixtures in the week, and Tuesday isn't going to be as easy as people might think, is it?
That's not going to be easy. Reading are mid-table, they're not going to go down, they're not going to go up, but they could just be a spanner in our sort of good works that we're trying to achieve this season. So we've got to take that game with caution as well, but the most important game is the one that's coming up.
And because realistically, they're probably not going to go down. Very unlikely that they're going to get into the playoffs. People say they're a harder animal to face, but
yeah, they have no sort of motivation apart from how they feel towards Brentford. And I'm sure they would like to, as I said earlier, put a spanner in our works to derail our good season. So we have to be one step ahead, take that game as if it is a very top game, and we know what we do when we play good sides. We normally come out triumphant, play well, score the right amount of goals, so it should be the same.
Well, early in the season we got the 1-0 win. We were in pretty good form leading up to this, and another great goal from Ollie, lovely cross from Matthias. But it was actually pretty close, this game, as I remember, and that man again, David Raya, made a really big save in the first half from Puskás, and it could have been slightly different, because that was at 0-0.
And he's been very pivotal this season, David Raya coming in. He's kept us in games, which is so important for a goalkeeper. And when you got the front three as we've got, and the attacking midfielders that we've got, you know you've got a great chance in nicking a goal and winning matches.
That's it, a big week, and it's all getting very, very exciting. I'll tell you something else that's exciting, competitions. And last week we asked you to tell us who Henrik Dalsgaard had been missing most in lockdown. Here's what he said.
Who did you miss most being away from the training ground during lockdown?
Oh, I hate to say this, but as I said in having a coffee after training with Christian, I must say I quite missed that.
So Henrik missed going for a coffee with Christian Norgard. I tell you what, I'd quite like to go for a coffee with them too. It'd be quite cool. Not coffee. I don't drink coffee, but baby chino or like hot chocolate. Anyway. Marcus has got all the correct entries. Thank you all for getting involved. Marcus, they'll be winning this signed Brentford shirt. So if you could do the honours and pick one at random, please. Don't look.
I'm going to look that way and put man this way. So
this
here we go.
First competition winner of the season.
Hands in the ball. Okay, I think here we go. Right. Jack at Jack Salter 96.
Well done, Jack. You have won a signed Brentford shirt. I imagine you follow us. Hopefully you follow us. So if you do, we can DM you and we'll get that sent out to you as soon as possible. Don't worry though, if you didn't win this week, we have got another competition for you. And this time we asked Sergi Canos who he'd least like to get stuck in a lift with.
Which Brentford player in the squad would you least like to be stuck in a lift with?
I would like to.
Wouldn't like to?
I wouldn't like.
No.
Oh my god. It depends, because if had a bad day like today, he didn't win a game, I don't want to be with. But I don't know, maybe, I don't know, everyone is nice. Maybe he's angry. He's an angry man.
So tell us who you think Sergi would least like to get stuck in a lift with. Marcus, who would you least like to get stuck in one with?
Maybe you, Stu.
Yeah, a few hours on a Thursday's enough for you, is it? I ain't going to argue with that, I'm pretty annoying. Anyway, tell us who you think Sergi would on all the normal channels, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, email, anything like that. Or we'll also be putting it up on Twitter like we did last week, so you can just reply to that. Now, big game against West Brom, and here's the programme from that match. Fantastic work from Chris Deacon again. And remember, you can get all those programmes on the Curtis Sport online shop. If you do want them though for a match day, you need to be ordering them a week in advance. And at that West Brom game, we're going to see the banners in Griffin Park. Loads of you have been uploading your photo on the Be There website. But if you haven't got your photo up there already, do not worry. There is a chance to get them in there for the Wigan game in a week's time. So that's it, Marcus. Another show done.
Yeah.
2 big games coming up. What are your predictions for each?
1-1 tonight.
For West Brom.
And I think we'll win 2-0 against Reading.
If we're sitting here next week, 6 points, can I start getting excited?
I think we're all going to start being excited if we can stay unscathed and pick up those points. So, yeah.
Fingers crossed. Come on then, you bees. You Reds!
Sir Jake Bidwell, who's got it?
It's Sergio Carlos.
Your